Hello everyone, it's Partyfoot back with another game of Mechabellum. This time playing an elite spec on a saber crawler round. Of course, getting a bit of chaff, always a good option when looking to get that elite specialist. Our opponent goes for giant spec and takes the reliable sledgehammers alongside a group of fangs. So, nice standard tank matchup at the moment. Saber's okay, I guess, at hitting our sledgehammers down here, if they can get on target reasonably well. But 5 shots does take a bit of time to come out one of these guys, so they're probably actually pretty good against them, against sledgehammers too. Sorry, against saber-tooths too, these sledgehammers. Our opponent's deciding where they're going to put their chaff. I decided to go for a couple of arc lights. Of course, they're leveled because we are the elite spec. Leveled arc lights actually probably do start getting okay against sledgehammers. I don't think they can hit 2 of them at the same time because they don't quite have the splash, but unless there's some, maybe let me know in the comments below if an arc light can splash sledgehammers sometimes. But I think even without that, arc lights do decent DPS. So yeah, our opponent also picking up some arc lights for their side of the map too. But we do start with our leveled options here, and we go for a kind of side pressure. Definitely kind of an aggro position, but not right up to the line. And it kind of on a slightly staggered situation, kind of have these late crawlers come in after the piece. Let's hope that this works out okay for us. Opponent's just tweaking their fang positioning. And they decide to come in for it. We've somehow highlighted the HP of a single fang. Didn't know that was persistent. Okay, sabers are starting off hitting a lot of chaff, which is not ideal. Arclight's surviving pretty well against a lot of opponents and taking down a lot of that chaff, which is what it was designed to do. And now the saber is working down the sledgehammers and arclights that remain, and it looks like we're going to take round 1. As you should do, usually as elite spec, because you do start with more resources and leveled units. So we're not unhappy about that. You see the advanced missile device? I did pick that up in a game recently, but it doesn't appear to be this game, at least not yet. Intensive training instead is the option. Mass-produced sledges on the cards for our opponent if they wanted to go hard into those sledgehammers. They've already got some down, and this does make them weaker, so it wouldn't necessarily immediately give a great return on investment. Free being still an investment, because the alternative is to skip and get 50 gold. I call it gold credits. Another leveled arc light to cover up on this other side here. Sure. Bit of chaff in the back as well. Has to be leveled because of our elite spec, of course. So I put it a bit delayed so that hopefully it doesn't just drive straight into these tanks and get blown up. I have heard that vertical sledgehammers like this are better against chaff because they stagger their shots as the units come in and don't overkill quite as much. So he's probably in quite a good position for this. I'm hoping he still gets drawn in over this side, and then we can come in and this chaff can support these guys in the fight of this flank. Our opponent grabs Void Eyes. It looks like they want to go for another pack of Void Eyes, but they've run out of money. I wonder if they'll undo that decision and get their cash back. Oh no, sorry, excuse me. They have spent. Where's the other unit they put down? Am I getting flanked? I don't see it. Oh, it was an additional arc light, of course, to even out their position. Makes sense. I also enjoy a symmetrical board. Let's see how these new crawlers come in. They are coming into these sledgehammers. Oh, yeah. And they're still getting one shot, so they're actually just feeding in experience. But they are... Yeah, and they're distracting too late. Our saber's already gone down, too. Void Eye's getting great value. Nice pick out of our opponent. And we get trounced in round 2. I mean, it went pretty well for us in round 1, so it's a, I do love how in Mechabellum these things can go so back and forth. 4 Hounds. Yeah, well... I'm elite spec. 4 Hounds is crazy. It's crazy! That's 4 deployments, and for a chaff-like unit, elite spec can't ignore that. I didn't even really have to look at the other things. You know, what's a melter going to do against this many hounds? Decided I'd also build out this position, considering how badly that went for us. Reinforced with hounds. Hounds do support sabers pretty well, clearing out that chaff so that their single target damage can come to bear on the bigger targets. Our opponent picks up Phantom Ray. And now I'm having an inkling about what might be happening in this game, and let's guess together that it might be a lack of anti-air response. Let's find out. You know, if I as a YouTuber, as I develop my career here, if I become known for anything, I guess it, you know, should it be a late anti-air response? Is that shameful? I guess one of the alternatives would be being known for doing, you know, was it Quick Supply Specialist Sledgehammer all-ins, which, I don't know, that feels a bit dirty. I don't know if I want to be known for that. Opponent picks up Stormcallers as well. Apparently, this is the BM game. Doing an air swap is pretty indirect, and then grabbing Stormcallers as well. It just, wow, you know, they do pick up extra chaff. One of them stays in their spawn location, which may not have been their intention, but it's going to work okay. These hounds immediately enjoying all the chaff our opponent put down, but these phantoms are uncontested. We have no anti-air, so we'll definitely lose this round. Question is, can we take down everything on the ground nice and quickly as well first, so that they don't gain too much experience, and we can stay ahead in the ground game. Oh, sabers taking so much damage. We do get the tower. Hopefully that'll be enough to clear out the rest of the ground. It's not gone down fast enough really yet for me to be super content. But it does look like everything on the ground is dead, so we'll just get this last tower with a bit of bonus experience. And then we'll allow ourselves to embrace the cold embrace of death once these Phantom Rays have done their business. Let's make it a little bit rapid. I had wondered if they'd get through all these crawlers. They don't actually have as much AoE as I'd once thought they did have. They're actually quite good on single targets, to be fair. And there we go. Opponent takes round 3 as well. I don't know. Let's see if I am going to, in fact, address this aerial situation. Advanced targeting is nice but expensive. Efficient tech means, without any techs yet, means definitely going to pick up Hound range. That feels quite good. Although, on reflection, that does kind of reduce their utility as chaff, because now they're going to be hanging back, and it's the sabers who are going to be advancing, and the arclights that are going to be advancing. Probably arclight range may have been a little bit nicer here. The chaff could have, you know, the hounds could have remained in that chaff role, especially since they're unleveled. We do pick up 2 marksmen, so, okay. This time we are going to address the Phantom Ray situation. I guess you'll have to, you know, tune into the next episode to see if I indeed have a game where I stubbornly / accidentally forget to get anti-air. Oh, something incredible happened to me, by the way. I bought a terrarium. I guess a vivarium. Well, and I put a bunch of random mud and junk from outside, just randomly from outside, and it's been a couple of weeks, and a stick insect has been born in my vivarium. So I have, you know, I can now say that I have raised a stick insect in captivity. Well, I guess the raising part is still ongoing. They are appearing to eat some leafy greens that I've put in there, so, you know, let's hope I am not derelict. More missile launchers out of our opponent. More chaff out of our opponent. Will those 2 marksmen be enough to take down all these Phantom Rays that are concentrated over this side? I had kind of worried that he might put down even more somewhere else, but so far not the case. Really nice that these are leveled, because they do seem to be taking down the Phantom Rays in a single blast, which is nice for us. The missile comes in. Didn't really do a great job. 3 isn't too bad. We do get the tower, though. These leveled crawlers now being pretty uncontested. Getting onto the storm crawlers. They're not going to be long for this world in that situation with leveled crawlers on them. Going down super quickly. Can they get a few more kills here to reduce the damage they're going to take? Not quite. Maybe some of the chaffy units, but nothing. None of the serious stuff. Okay. Another swing back onto our opponent as we take round 4. Subsidized Stormcaller coming in. Vulcan's Ascent, redeployment. Extended range Phantom Ray. I wondered if he would take that. I saw some pretty crazy redeployment plays recently, and I thought, well, you know, this is an overpowered card. We should pick it up. I don't really know exactly what we're going to be using it for, though. So far, not taking a particularly crazy position. Setting up some crawlers to drag the missiles with a mobile beacon. That's always a decent option if our opponent goes more and more into those Stormcallers. Picking up levels in the Sabers. And we get anti-missile on the Sabers. I always think to myself that the anti-missile unit is Mustangs. But Sabers are so much better in the anti-missile role. Because they don't actually give up any of their main DPS to do it. They're just a turret that shoots down missiles and, you know, moves with your army. So, you know, I don't know why I'm always looking to those Mustangs for the job, but Sabers do it good too. We have actually started getting our Hounds a few levels. Others maybe not so successful yet. Yeah, these guys suffering a little bit in this, in the thick of this head-on clash. Putting down some missiles. Okay. Let's see how that goes. Gets shot down by our interceptors. That's great. Plus 50. That means that the value of that upgrade is even better. Look at that. Nice interception. What a cool... We went for some flanking Hounds, by the way. Decided that we don't generally develop a very strong position, but we, in turn, get flanked by some Phantom Rays. This is definitely an action round. We take their tower. Good timing. We've only got one marksman left alive. That's a lot of Phantom Rays for them to take down. And they're getting advanced on by Chaff, which is super unideal. The Scorpion takes the shot. Our hope is gone. Their opponent has a Sandworm too, which pops up apparently for the first time. I didn't see it making much of an impact earlier. Phantom Ray versus Anti-Air Saber. We do get, look like one shot off there. Although, is that all that a level 3 Saber does in damage to a level 1 Sandworm? I don't believe that. No, maybe it was someone else. Okay, Sandworm's going down. He does have Div already. Mech Div, that is. It looks like these flanking Phantom Rays are going to get a lot of damage. And is this going to be the Phantom Ray Typhoon crawler situation that I faced in the past? That I actually couldn't deal with even though our opponent did nothing else? PTSD immediately. Alright, you can do this. Bringing them down. Let's not go slow mode, that's probably a bit extreme, right? You can spend as much time with me here as you like. Okay, here we go. Double Phoenix, always pretty attractive. That's what I'm going for. Anti-air option. Scaling option. DPS option. It's going to be good against some of the late game units he might choose to get next. Melter in the cards. There's the Typhoon for this flank. Oh my god, I don't think that I would have been prepared for a Typhoon flank of this caliber. We do use the redeployment to just adjust the positioning of these crawlers, and we use the Phoenixes to guard. I put some down on this side too because I was pretty concerned that he might build Phantom Rays on this side and just try his luck a second time. More Hounds, Mech Rage. Getting upgrades on our most numerous units so that we get more value. Range and Mech Rage. Leveled Hounds should be not that bad at taking down sledges, right? They can do it eventually. This Sandworm does have heavy armor. And now there's Phoenixes over this side. So selling out of the Phantom Rays, or maybe he's just redeploying them, actually. He's redeployed this unit. Okay, so he must just be redeploying them, because he only had 2 to begin with. But now he's got his Phoenixes on this side. Nothing for them to do back here, like they had been intended. Again, drawing the missiles. The Phantom Rays come over to this side to defend against the Hounds. And these are leveled Hounds, so this does suck for us a bit. Ooh, that's tough to see. And there's actually a boat. I mean, the good thing is that, like, Mech Rage range Hounds do a pretty quick job of clearing up the chaff. Like, as long as they have, like, any uptime at all, and yeah, we're collapsing this side pretty effectively here. Getting in on that tower. Ooh, the Phoenix shot in. No level on that tower yet? Doesn't look like it. Yes. And I don't know if these missile interceptors are capable of taking down any of the missiles from the boat because of their velocity, but definitely happy to have a shot at it anyway. Big round for us, round 6. Huge amount of damage over to our opponent. Okay, so he really pulled it back with that flank, but this time not so lucky. Additional deployment slot comes down. That's a no-brainer. And I mean that in a literal sense, not necessarily that it's a no-brainer to pick the card. And what I mean is, I'm picking it without using any aspect of my brain, because it's good enough in most circumstances that I can do that. Leveling Hounds, that feels attractive to me. Now these guys are getting quite solid, so they should be able to start chewing through these basic sledgehammers pretty well. And Stormcallers if they need to, right? More boats. Wasp Factory. Yeah. I don't know if 2 marksmen are going to be able to beat multiple boats with Wasp Factory, but we are going for additional Phoenix, which also can, you know, contribute to that. In fact, more Phoenix again. It's probably the case that this is going to be okay. This Scorpion no longer getting a huge amount of value. I mean, it is mostly trash over here on the ground. Nothing like, you know, super leveled sledgehammers or anything. Over here, he might get more value. But he's left it out there on the flank. I assume these are still getting quite a lot of damage. So they're chewing on these chaff units before this rangeless Scorpion gets in to really do anything. Range for the Phoenixes as our timer starts running out and we start having to make choices. Our opponent is going to go for a switcheroo. He seems to think that we would have moved out of this position, but no, we're stubborn. We doubled down. More units over here. Flying units, crawler units, more chaff. Perfect. So this side of the field so far is us. Let's see if we can do so over here as well. A lot of flying units coming in. Only single target anti-air on our side. Looks like we're getting pushed in a little bit. Last few moments, though, get a really critical number of shots out, taking down a large number of those flying units. Opponent's tower goes down. A few seconds earlier would have been incredible, but we do still have marksmen and Phoenixes alive. Double tower. And it looks like that surely is going to take us the round. As the Phoenixes close in on these Motherlords. Motherlords? Overlords with Mothership. You can see how I construct the words that I'm saying, right? And he lives. 100 health on the back turn. Nuke comes down. Now, I think in this situation, you should go for the nuke. Because if I nuke him, which I am doing, I mean, maybe he just didn't. Maybe he's doing a me and not reading that I could pick the nuke. But if I nuke him and he doesn't nuke me, then he's gone, right? Maybe he's gambling that I am not going to take the nuke, and then he's saying, well, you know, look, if I get nuked, it's over. But maybe I can pull the game into my favor with the absorption module over time. I mean, maybe that's valid actually. I can see that. He's leveled the tower over this side now as well. Got some of those basic upgrades. I've also got the basic upgrades. range on the Overlords, I kind of hate range on Overlords myself, at least from the times that I've been playing it. Here comes an Abyss. You know, bummer you can't put the absorption module in the Abyss, of course, but you can get wreckage recycling, which he doesn't seem to have. This position over here, we've gone for underground threat now, trying to get these leveled crawlers in. If they get into combat, leveled crawlers are going to be actually pretty strong. And if we see them getting onto opponents, we can get impact drill as well. Kind of relying on Hounds for a lot right now. Let's see how this goes. These flying units are not immune to this nuke, even underneath the shield. Well, technically they're above the shield, which is the reason they're not immune. And this looks pretty dire for him. Will it hit the Abyss too? Probably will. It doesn't go down, but everything disappears, and we take the tower. Okay, well. It was a couple days since I played this game, I think, as I mentioned. So, it's actually pretty one-sided. Now, I've been having more games where I do lose, but still not that many stimulating games that I lose, so another one that went at least to round 8. So if you enjoyed, please, you know, feel free to leave a comment and subscribe potentially. It was a bit of a quick game, maybe a bit one-sided, but we did get some cool leveled Hound elite spec action going. And kind of just relying on the basics here. Just kind of chaff, Hounds, Phoenix. While our opponent was getting the higher level units, but not respecting the nuke, or at least not having any option against it. He did have redeployment, so, you know, you could imagine one of these guys being redeployed over here. Then again, I already did have a Phoenix over here, didn't I? But this area here is pretty vulnerable to air. There's quite a lot of leveled stuff here. Anyway, thanks for joining us for another one. Until next time, this is Partyfoot, signing out.